Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to just kind of give you my thoughts on some AI stuff, and then we're going to move in to a dialogue. And so some of my thoughts are focused more on the big picture. I always, when I approach a new subject, I always try to figure out where it fits in the universe. And having done this for over 30 years and watched previous trends and technologies come and go, I'm always trying to figure out, okay, how is this one different? And so one of the things I try to figure out is how complicated, how complex is whatever it is we're talking about, AI. And so I want you to think about simple systems, right? Linear systems. You drill a hole in the piece of metal, you put a bolt through it. It's very predictable. It's a simple assembly. Simple system. Right, then we have complicated systems. And this is maybe the early telephone switching system, where things are more automated. And then later on, right, we have complex systems. Now, once you hit a complex, I'm not going to talk about chaotic systems, but once you get to a complex system, the problem is it starts to become impossible to predict what they'll do. And so because it's unpredictable, when they fail, you might not ever understand why. And I'll get to why this is important. And the reason why you see this trend from simple to complicated to complex is because this is what we do as humans. We specialize. If you don't specialize, you probably don't get very far in your career, right? Human civilization does not advance if we don't get better and specialize. In the early days of hacking, you could have 3 or 4 people in a room, and you could understand how it all worked. The phone system, C programming language, operating systems. Now, you could probably have this room and not fully understand JavaScript, right? It's really specialized now. And so here's an early map of the internet. 1969, 2 systems. You could understand that, right? Here, now it's 1975. Network's starting to get a little bit more complicated. Now it's 1984, and this isn't a net map of the internet anymore. This is a map of the Usenet news system on top of the internet. And so these are people running servers to provide news to everybody who wants to subscribe to a news group. By 2007, you can't you can't keep it in your head, right? Here's the world, right? In 2007. You can see where the countries are just by their connections, right? And this also probably answers the question of why is there so much tech in America? It just started there sooner. So because when systems like this fail, complicated systems, in a way that you cannot predict, that means what? It means you have to be okay with failure. You have to be able to accept failure in your systems, or else you're going to go crazy. Which means your bosses need to accept failure so you don't get fired. So you're moving into this AI system that are nonlinear, and they're not predictive, and they're going to fail, and we're never going to know why. You could spend all the money in the world and never understand why, and we have to be okay with that. And if you're not okay with that, maybe this isn't the field for you. So there was a book I suggest everybody read, Power and Prediction, Disruptive Economics of Artificial Intelligence. And there's a couple of points in this book that changed the way I thought about AI. Like, I thought I sort of understood it, and then I read the book. I ended up talking to one of the authors, and then all of a sudden, I get it now. Let me see what the next slide says. I'm supposed to see the next slide down here, but I can't. So, okay. So what happens is AI models, generative models, are fantastic at predicting what's next, right? It's like super smart autocomplete. You want a picture of a Christmas tree, it predicts the next color should be green, and then it predictively can generate what a Christmas tree looks like, what the next word would be if you want to ask for an essay on a Christmas story. So these prediction models in your autonomous vehicle, should I go right, should I go left, should I put on the brakes, right? When I see a stop sign, should I slow down, should I speed up? Everything is a prediction. So the difference is the machine making the prediction and then the way we as people do this, right? There's a distinction coming. I'm going to draw a picture here for you. We as people, we combine the prediction and the decision making, right? And since it happens in our brain all at once, it's subconscious and we don't understand that we're doing it. So for example, here's some chili crab, pepper crab actually. So here's the question. Would you eat this pepper crab? You would say, okay, well, I've eaten at this restaurant before, so I have my past experience. That gives me some data. I'm familiar with the restaurant. I like crab. The reputation of the chef is good. Yes, I'll eat it. Now, the new change that AI systems are introducing is it splits prediction from decision making. This has never happened before in human history. It's going to take us a while to adapt. But AI systems are fantastic at making predictions, which means then humans, which are terrible at predictions, can take the best of the machine, the best of the prediction, and then we get to use our decision making, right? The system can predict, and we can decide if we want to act. Normally, we do that all at once, instantly in our brain. But now, for the first time in human history, we can separate these two functions. And because the prediction is the hardest part, most likely to be biased, we can theoretically make much better decisions. So, how does the AI analyze the pepper crab, right? It might scan every single review ever posted about the restaurant. It might know how often I visit the restaurant. It might have read 20 articles on the reputation of the chef. It might know if crab is in season. It might inspect the color of the crab and analyze the ingredients for freshness, right? And then it might spit out 80% chance you'll really enjoy this crab. And then I can say, good, I decide to eat it. 80% is good enough for me. And so I want to point out that the way we make decisions are going to change fundamentally because we can separate these two functions for the first time. Now here's the second part, right? Machines are better at predictions, humans are better at decisions. Here's a paper statement from IBM in 1979. A computer can never be held accountable, therefore a computer must never make a management decision. Keep that in mind. You are responsible, not the machine. Who is the responsible party? You're going to sue the machine or are you going to sue a person? Right? Who do my lawyers go after? So I just want us to think that what we want to do is we want to use these predictive systems to prevent burnout. We want to use them in ways in which humans are poor performers, so we can free up the humans, the people, to do the thing they do best, right? The creativity and the decision making, and not the repetitive prediction making. We're not good at that, and now we have a way out. So just some of my thoughts on what the big changes are going to come, and looking forward to having a conversation and answering any of your questions.